Just wanna feel purple, yellow, red.
Welcome to the 7th episode of the Purple, Yellow, Red and Blue podcast, a Portugal The Man podcast. Each podcast I am joined by a guest to talk about everything going on with Portugal The Man. News, social media activities, interviews, new releases, potential new albums coming up very soon. With a chance to hang out with a guest every episode as their impressions of new releases and pretty much, their experiences, the first time hearing them, that sort of thing. Plus with the PTM song game at the end of the episode where I like to make him look a little silly, but so far I haven't caught too many people out. We will though. You can find this podcast, past and future episodes, up on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast. If you're on YouTube or any of the other ones where you can like it or favourite or do whatever it does, leave us a review or anything. That helps spread the word, just helps more people find it. Yeah, pretty much. My name is Mark, and my guest joining me today is...
Hello, my name is Amy. I am from Wisconsin, and I have been a Portugal The Man fan since I heard Purple, Yellow, Red, and Blue in 2013.
Cool. Good one to jump in first. How you doing, Amy, on this Friday afternoon? How you doing?
Well, I'm much better now that it's Friday afternoon.
Aren't we all? Nice. And you said you're based from Wisconsin, was it? The land of the cheese, as I've learned.
Yes, and beer. And I know Portugal The Man is a fan of PBR, so I gotta give props to my Wisconsin beers.
Oh, definitely. It's what would you recommend then? Beer type from Wisconsin? Is there a particular brand or anything? Bit of free promotion for them?
Well, geez, that's a tough one. There are so many good beers in Wisconsin. A lot of people like to come to Wisconsin and drink Spotted Cow because it's only available in Wisconsin. And technically you can get in trouble if you try to bring it across the border. But I typically I like my PBR, I like my good old mom and pop beer.
Very traditional. Very nice of you.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, you said you got started Portugal The Man fan, obviously. Thank you for coming on today. Somewhat short notice again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully you have a good time tonight. Yeah, awesome. So you said you started off with Purple, Yellow, Red and Blue. So you've been a fan for what, 10 plus years roughly, or maybe a little bit earlier, a little bit later, somewhere around that?
Yeah, initially I actually had Shazammed Purple, Yellow, Red, and Blue off of the radio. And then I was going through my Shazams and I decided to look up some other, tunes that they had come out with. And I was actually quite surprised to see how many albums they already had out. So I had a lot to catch up on. But Evil Friends was just, it blew me away. I just could not stop listening to it over and over. And I decided that I need to see them live because I love live shows. That's kind of my thing is I just go to concerts all the time. And so I had just missed them. They had just played in Milwaukee. And so then the next time, I know it's such a bummer. So the next time I was able to see them was with Cage the Elephant. And so on that tour. So that was the first time I had seen them. And also the first time I had met them. John and Zach had came over to the side just to talk to some fans, and we just happened to be standing there.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so we hung out with them for a little while, and I don't know if John would remember this, but my friend was really, or still is really into like crystals and, like rocks and
I'm
stuff
with you.
like that. And she had given John a rock, a crystal.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
so, yeah. And so the next time, and he looked a bit, I wouldn't say shocked, but I don't, and I wouldn't say confused, but I think he just didn't really know what to do or say. And so then the next time I had talked to him, I had asked him if he remembered, and he said he did, but of course, like they probably meet like a million fans.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so I've always been curious to know, like, if he ever got any energy off of that, because strangely enough, that night, and I don't know how anybody stands on that, but strangely enough, that night, when I held on to that crystal, it got really hot in my hand.
Mm.
And so there was something going on with that crystal. So I always wanted to ask John about that.
Interesting. Maybe you had like you just I don't know, just something like that.
Yeah.
Never know, never know. But that's cool that on
Yeah.
like your first show, like you came over and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" That I mean, we know they're good
Yeah,
people.
we were just kind of standing there, and they immediately, as soon as they were done with their show, came over to the side and started chatting with fans. So
Mm.
I thought that was really cool.
That's cool because normally they just sort of they like, "Thanks for coming, see you, good night," and everyone, and like 30 seconds later, the whole room just empties. So that's pretty cool that
Yeah.
they would just hang around because it's not my experience. Normally, it's like as soon as 90% of their body's behind the curtain, the room is empty. Everyone's gone. You're like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right, exactly. Especially at the rave, the place that they played at, it's called the Eagles Ballroom slash the Rave,
Hmm.
and it's supposedly haunted, and there's an underground pool, and I I'm sure they've been there before and they had seen the pool before, but yeah, I was like, I'm surprised that they're not going downstairs and hanging out in the pool instead of hanging out with us Wisconsinites.
I don't know. They're good people. They probably just wanted to chat. You never know. I mean, this was like 2013, so around that time, I would have
Yeah,
thought.
this was, let's see, what was this? That was 2016, I think, that they went
2016.
on tour
Sorry.
with. Yeah, but still, yeah, long
Mm.
time ago.
The Doomin' and Gloomin' era.
Yeah.
That will
Mhm.
never be. Ah,
Mhm.
that one's never gonna killed off, is it? Yeah.
To say that's just like one of those bittersweet memories.
It's one of those, and it won't be a thing. But you know, a lot of what that album was supposed to be or contrived to be ended up on Woodstock. So we've kind of got the best
Mhm.
version, I think, of it. I mean, again, they're artists in their own right, and they can, if that's the best way, the most positive way they saw that outcome. That's the best
Mhm.
thing forward, I suppose. You know, there's no point. I mean, it might have been a bit of a Debbie Downer album as well. Let's be honest. Dooming and glooming could have been that fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too excited about it. There's nothing to get too excited about. But hey ho. Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps it was just in the out in the universe, it was right before COVID and lockdown, so maybe the dooming and glooming, wasn't really. Maybe
Well,
they predicted before we knew what was coming.
maybe. Maybe.
They're
Potentially
like the
5 years.
Simpsons.
Yeah. So you said your first memory was of hearing it. You Shazam the song. Obviously, if you don't know what Shazam is, it was that. I don't know if it is still around, isn't it? It's like a mobile app, and you hear a
Yeah.
song and it'll be like, "What's this?" And it's like the technology will listen in, and you basically go, "Oh, it's this." Which I remember John said in an interview. He said, "Yeah, we were the most Shazam band in 2018,
Oh,
2017."
funny.
And I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing because that means no one knows us, but now they're listening to us. So I'll take that as a win. Um,
Now they know.
that's a throwback. God, I don't know where that came from. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, so Portugal The Man. And what's your favourite album? It is
Oh,
Evil Friends, or you got to make a tough decision.
yeah. I'd probably say Evil Friends just because that was kind of like the start of my like musical journey with them.
Mm.
Just I listened to that album so many times, and it's like one of those things where once the song ends, you automatically know what the next like 2-3 notes are going to be
Yeah.
of the next song
Oh,
because
yeah.
you've listened to that album so often.
And again, I started with, if you don't know already, I started around the In the Mountain in the Cloud era. But my personal favourite is probably Evil Friends as well, even though some people think In the Mountain in the Cloud is superior. Yeah, they're allowed to have their opinions. I don't know, Evil Friends, it paints a picture of a man's struggles, or a person's struggles. It doesn't have to be the man, but a person's struggle with loss, love, vengeance, all those things, and the emotions that go along with that. You go across a journey. And when I thought of it like that, I just think, yeah, it links up nicely because, you know, there's emotional stuff going on with plastic soldiers, and then Evil Friends is like a nightmare. Modern Jesus is that reclaiming moment of like finding himself, and then, you know, you'll have something like Hip Hop Kids, which is about buying a coat in France, you know, just random for his daughter Frances, you know. A bit random. But yeah, I think it all ties up together, and Purple, Yellow, Red and Blue, which name of the podcast, yeah, just probably the favourite, or one of my favourites. Yeah, just very striking, very... I don't know what the word is. I don't know how to really do it. I'm probably doing a really bad job of it, but...
For me, if you... See, I hadn't heard the previous album, so for me, I didn't really have anything to compare to, but now that I have, it to me seems like a kind of like a change, you know, like it was, and it seemed like an angry album, like, and I tend to like angry albums,
Yeah.
or angry music, I guess. And so there was a lot of it that I was like, I could really get behind, like, emotionally.
Yeah, I get that as well. Yeah, I feel like I put it on, and I put it on together, and it is you go on the journey. You know, as you said, you feel the emotions sort of thing, and you go through it, and you rock out as you're going through, and it's pretty good. There aren't, you know, I mean, I don't really tend to skip much as well on it, which there are a lot of albums where you're like, I'll skip track 4 or track 7 or whatever as you're going through. But yeah, I don't really tend to skip anything. It's a good listen. Yeah, awesome. What are some of your favourites then that aren't Evil Friends attached?
What's one of my favorite songs?
Yeah, songs or albums or anything. Other like...
I really dig Chicago, but I might be a little bit biased because I'm from the Midwest. But that song too, I was just like, wow, man, this song is fucking awesome.
Yeah. It goes hard, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. And then, like, obviously it's complicated. That was just a whole different musical journey too. It's amazing to me how different the albums can sound. Like there's a kind of like a common theme or a thread maybe through them, but they all have like their own unique sound to them.
Yeah, definitely. And I think their journey of experimenting and learning, progressing music throughout the albums, as John always says, of, hey, don't do it like this, you know, we didn't really know what we were doing on Weighty Vultures and those early EPs as well, but as they've progressed, yeah, they've made, you know, they've improved. I think they've improved, and each one does sound unique. It is unique, has unique artwork, has it's their stance. I mean, the fact that they recorded most of those in like 10 days or something or under is wacky, but fair play. They must have had the studio space for that amount of time or whatever, so they had to do it in that time, you know. And John's always
right,
writing,
exactly.
So,
yeah. I was thinking to myself, like, I wonder if there had ever been like a lull. I mean, there's been
2 now. There's been 2.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
The week between.
I don't know if you could even call COVID, like, you know.
I don't know. I think we go from yearly to a 4-year gap between Evil Friends and Woodstock, and then
yeah, I suppose.
it'll be what, 6 years more or less between Woodstock and Chris Black Changed My Life, which we're recording this just under a month before it releases. How are you feeling about it so far? How How you feeling? Are you excited, obviously, but
Yes, very much so. Yeah, I'm totally digging the sound because to me, it brings me back to that whole psychedelic rock sound. I'm getting all these I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan too,
mm,
so it's like I'm getting so much of this. Being a big Pink Floyd fan myself, like I just
yeah,
hear a lot of old school classic rock like sounds, like the psychedelic rock, and like to me it makes me think back when I was in high school listening to The Wall, and
mm.
um it reminds me of a classic rock album, but it hasn't even been released yet.
Yeah. I mean, we're so close to it as well. I mean, we'll get into it later. Next, we'll talk about recent releases and like how we're feeling a little bit more in depth. But it's cool so far. I'm enjoying it. It's very different. I think the transition
Hmm.
between Evil Friends to Woodstock to this, you can sort of see them bridging towards maybe, they've always used the term genreless. They don't really want to be pinned
Hmm.
down to a particular genre. And, they've been working with a lot of artists between Woodstock and this. I mean, the door's been opened. It's been kicked open,
Yeah.
really, for them worldwide. Um,
Yeah.
and the awards have been shoved up the backside, everything's and everything in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a journey, and they're in a position where this is what they want to be doing at the moment, and we'll find out in less than a month's time what's installed. Even though quite a lot has been, we've had quite a few singles released beforehand, haven't we? I don't know, I think we're up to like 5 or 6 at this point, and
Yeah.
yeah, how you feeling about it then?
I love it. I mean, I love hearing, the new music. I'm really looking forward to hearing the album from start to finish, though. I feel like
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
going to be a whole, like the story's going to come into place and everything's going to kind of just like fall into piece, like in all the little pieces are going to come in together, and
Mm.
it's just going to be, yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Awesome, awesome. And moving away slightly from Portugal The Man to maybe get to know you, but we'll jump back onto it shortly. What other bands do you like or have seen or live shows or anything like that?
Ah,
Your
well,
recommendations. Recommendations. Yeah.
it's kind of funny because I mean, I do like a lot of indie rock,
Mm.
that is kind of it probably is the most listened to genre that I listen to. Um, but other than that, I actually am a huge Madonna fan, for 40
Okay,
years now.
okay.
So, yeah, and I love the fact that Zach is also a huge Madonna fan.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah,
I
I
didn't
think
know
that's
that.
amazing. And Lou, who is their friend, I don't know if you've ever talked to him, but
No,
he's like done their merch and stuff. He's like their merch guy. He does like merch for tons of bands,
mm.
but he's like one of their buddies or whatever. But he's also a huge Madonna fan, and so him and I have talked a lot more about Madonna than we have about Portugal the Man,
Oh,
which is
wow.
funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's cool. I didn't actually know
Yeah.
that. Oh, awesome, awesome.
So,
Big Madonna
but
fan.
yeah, other than
Okay.
that, yeah, big Madonna fan, but I feel like it's kind of funny because I don't typically listen to pop music. Like
Mm.
Madonna's just kind of like my one-off. And then other than that, it's mostly indie rock. I have been obsessed with the Beaches from
Okay.
Canada. They I only just discovered them, but I've been listening to them nonstop, and it's amazing to me that they're this young female group, and like their playing style and their way that they connect with each other is just so spot on. Like it's almost like shocking to me because it's like they sound like they've been a band that has been together for 20 years, and
All right.
they haven't even been alive for more than 20 years. So, yeah, it's just amazing. I'm excited about all this new music that's coming out. It's
Awesome.
really amazing.
Yeah, the post-pandemic scene is definitely like it's
Yes.
definitely kicking now. Like I'm noticing like artists are like, hey, we're doing something this year. Remember us? You know, like a couple of the bands are like. I mean, not everyone is at that pace, but yeah, it's an exciting. It feels like we're back in full force. You know.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of trying to like almost catch up or make up for time
Yes.
lost. Like everyone is on tour this summer.
Mm.
I don't have enough time or money for all this.
I know. I've literally got 2 shows I've just seen in the end of August in England. One's on the Saturday, and then one's on the Monday. And I'm like, a ticket is 70 quid each, and there's 2 shows I want to go to, and then I've got to ask people to come with me. I could go on my own, but I don't know. I'll go with someone. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to like move out. I shouldn't really be doing this.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's so much money. That's like £200 days out. I can't really be doing it, but I'm like, I haven't done too much more this year, so I don't know. I have to consider it. Gosh.
Yeah. Well, you have until August, so at least you have some time to think about it.
I will, and I look forward to it. What are some of the tracks you like from them? Any recommendations?
T-shirt is one of them.
Okay.
There's really just like so many of them. Here, let me look at my playlist here.
Give you a recommendation.
Let's see. Give It Up is another one. Desdemona. I actually don't know what that means, but that's probably my favorite tune. You have to check them out.
Check them out. So Madonna and The Beaches. So one I've heard of, but don't listen to, and one I've not heard of, and don't listen to. Sorry.
How about Tori Amos? Do you know Tori?
Tori Amos.
She's just in England.
You know what? I saw that. I saw you put something up in the Discord recently, and I was like, oh, she looks somewhat familiar. I don't know why, but I was like, no, I hadn't heard of her. Sorry, but this is. It's all good.
You know, it's funny though, because she was a lot bigger in England. Like, so when Tori first came out, they actually not made her, but they convinced her to move to England because they said, you know, you're a little bit quirky and stuff, and we don't know if the American audience is ready for you, but England is. So
we'll take you in. We'll take you on.
Yep.
Come on in.
Yeah. So she actually lives in Cornwall.
Oh, no! Oh, nice. Oh, she's got money.
Yeah. Well, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely part of the world,
right?
But a little too quiet for me, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there.
Yeah, down southwest. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Another band from the US that started out a lot bigger, or got their big start in the UK, was Haim, the Three Sister Act. Yeah. That's one of the shows. That's one of them. They're playing in London end of August, and I'm like, I'd actually quite like to go see them, to be honest, because I'm quite a big fan. I'd like to, because they're a bit of a badass. I don't know. I like them.
Oh yeah.
I like them. Plus, I don't know. They put on a. I saw them
actually. Yeah, I saw them open for Taylor Swift whenever that tour was years ago.
Was that a year or two ago? No, it must have been before that.
What was that? 1989.
Probably not. Probably not. Oh, so, I thought you were the year for a second.
No, the album. Sorry.
I don't think Alana was born at that point.
No, sorry. Yeah. It's the album tour.
Right. Sorry, I'm not as versed in the Taylor Swift discography. Apologies. Don't.
No, I honestly it was my daughter's. My daughter was huge into Taylor Swift back in the day. It's funny because now she can't stand her, but yeah. Even my kids have met the band.
Oh really? Oh nice.
Yeah, they. I sent John a message when we were down in Chicago, and I was like, "Hey, is there any chance like we could stop by and say hi?" And he's like, "Yeah, come over by the buses." So they came out and
awesome.
Chatted with the kids for a little bit.
Oh, that's really cool of them, man. Since I've been able to go to shows and the money to do it, I've actually not been in England since I've been available to do it. And then we had the pandemic.
I know.
And then it's been a bit unfortunate. And we had there was a Q&A last year, and I asked him about it, and he gave a fair response of like, we'd book something, and the warm up would be a noise band. It wouldn't be very good. probably kill the atmosphere. And I'm like, yeah, that's a shame. Because they're doing shows this year, but they're all in the US. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
Well, and you'd think that being that, Zoe's from England, like they would maybe
nope.
even just do a run of shows in the UK. Like, why not?
I don't think so.
They could even stay for free at Zoe's parents' house.
Oh, I don't know. It's they've got families and stuff, so they're doing the US tour. They're killing it. They've got some big shows. They're doing some big venues. It'll happen. Probably next year.
It'll be nice when they actually go on tour because I'm okay with like going to a festival, but as you know, like it's crowded and it's expensive, and usually the shows are short, 45 to 60 minutes. So it'll be nice when they actually go on tour again.
Yeah, and you've got to weigh up the sort of, I'm travelling all this way to go see a band for an hour. But you want to support them.
Yeah.
So it is worth it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
I sound like a dick.
Well, I'm kind of on the fence about Lollapalooza because, I mean, I want to go see them, but I'm going to wait until if they announce that they're going to do a after show.
Oh,
and
okay.
rumor has it that they are.
Oh.
So if they do, then I will go down because then I can see them twice in one night.
Double dip, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Amy. We've had some recent releases. We've had a couple actually.
Yes.
Since obviously, so far we've had Heavy Games, we've had Dummy, we've had, stop me if I'm forgetting one, Champ. We've had Thunderdome. We've had Summer of Love at this point. Mm-hmm. I'm forgetting one, aren't I? We've had so many.
Sort of Anxiety, if you wanna.
Oh.
I mean, some of us were fortunate enough to listen to it, so.
Oh, a little inside scoop. Tell me more. What's this?
So on the Q&A on Discord, we were able to get a listen to it, like a what's the word? A temporary link.
Like an early
and
listen.
so,
oh, okay.
Yeah. So
A sneak
Rich
peek.
was. Yeah, exactly. So Rich was nice enough to give us a little, listen to, and that was amazing. I really feel like, for the people who haven't heard it yet, like that one was the one that really hit me.
Oh, shit.
So,
okay.
I know. I'm excited for everybody else to hear it.
Okay, awesome. Because I listened to the recording of the Rich thing, but I think it was Chris. Shout out to Chris. He cut it off before we could hear it. So it was the whole interview, and then that bit was cut off conveniently. So for good reason.
Sure.
And then obviously Grim Generation has been played live as well, which hasn't been released, but might be like the week of, we might get it or something. I mean, just wait for June 23rd at this point, in my opinion. I think it's just.
I know, it's just a month.
Yeah, it's less than a month. Less.
It's going to be a long month, though.
I know. I've got some plans. I've got lots of people like, yeah, fucking, I'll come on. We'll come on. I've been keen to get back into it.
All right. Good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to talk about these things. But yeah, Anxiety Song. All right. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I always find it kind of awesome how, like, you're doing this podcast, and
Thank you.
like for me, I try to be creative. I like to write, and I like to do like graphics on the computer and stuff like that.
Really?
And I've been listening to the new music, and I've been writing, and like it's kind of exciting for me. So it's like with you and the podcast, it's like having something to kind of spark that creativity again.
Yeah, I mean, if that helps you, definitely go for it. I mean, would you like to just write or draw or create, or in what regard? I'm curious now.
So it's funny. I don't like to call it poetry because I just think that there's like this stigma attached to poetry.
Do the
like,
words rhyme? Okay, then it counts.
Yes.
I think that counts.
Right. See, that's the thing. It's like, and then is it really depressing? Or,
Mm.
you have this like, it's almost like a negative connotation to poetry. So I don't call it poetry. I just call it writing. But
Okay.
some things like rhyme, some things are just rants, some things are just thoughts,
Okay.
just like
Okay.
words or a one-liner that I'll have to go back to later and kind of try to form something out of,
Sometimes you need that
type
in
of thing.
life. If you haven't got a
Hmm.
job that stimulates that creative aspect, you need that outburst of creativity. And I
Yeah.
started this. I started doing this just because I wanted to learn how YouTube works, how editing works, how to make videos, do all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
I bought a mic. It kind of works. I don't know. I think the audio quality is all right. I think it definitely could sound better. And yeah,
Mhm.
I've definitely tried to make it where the first episode compared to the one that comes up now, there should be a gradual improvement. I've tried to like add another thing, and hopefully, if I pull my finger out, we should have a little video intro finally that I've been working on.
Mm.
Now that I've put that in the recording, I have to do it because it'll sound real shit if I haven't done it. So I've just given myself some work at the weekend to do. There we go. So should be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a little something if you like. Yeah, PTM should be good.
Well,
Should be
if
good.
you need any graphics or a logo, let me know.
Okay. Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. I will. We'll talk after.
Yeah.
We'll DM. We'll DM. Oh, sorry.
Speaking of just like creativity and stuff, a friend of mine, he is a GIS person, a mapping. He does maps for a living. I was having a chat with him and I was telling him that I was like, "Oh, I was thinking about doing a map that kind of shows where Portugal the Man is going to be going and like performing live this like this year or whatever." And he's like, "You know what?" He's like, "I think that would be a really good project for me to submit to Esri, which is it's the name of the company that it's a huge corporation. I'm
Hmm.
sure like a lot of people are very aware of it. But it's just like a mapping GIS platform,
Okay.
corporation software, stuff like that. But they have a huge conference and they have like a design challenge type of thing. So he made Portugal the Man map and called it Portugal the Map. And
Hey, nice.
it's kind of cute. It's like cool. Like I'll have to send it to you. I'll share it with you so you can take a look at it, but it's neat.
Oh,
It's just
awesome.
something, else. It's like, why not? It's like if you're going to be creative, you might as well, um, like, do something that you like Portugal the Man,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
make something creative out of it.
Awesome. So it's sorry to ask, but so it's everywhere they've been on tour or on a show or something like that, or
No, coming up. It's like
oh, okay.
basically what they're doing to
Ah,
promote this
right.
album this year.
Awesome. Right. I get it. So it's the US, just the
Hmm.
US, maybe
Yeah.
Canada. I forget now. I always get the US. I don't know where. I just see the list of places and I'm like, I don't see UK. What? I don't
Yeah.
see Europe. Oh
No
dear.
UK, unfortunately,
No,
huh?
no. So it's a map of all the upcoming. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, maybe I'll keep tabs on that. I think I did see you post on that. I've been trying to be a bit more active in the Discord and the Reddit. Yeah, I've had some family issues and some bits to take care of. Don't want to dwell on that, but yeah, still, I'll have a look at that. Awesome. Yeah.
Um, Shoot you the file or whatever too.
Please do,
But
please do. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, awesome. Um, yeah. So I think we'll start off with Champ. Yeah, what do you think of Champ?
I love it. I mean, I'm probably biased, but there isn't one of the new releases that I don't like.
Oh,
Um,
really?
I think,
Oh.
yeah, it's just I feel like every time they, give us a new one, I'm like, wow, how can they top the last one that they gave us?
Mm.
And it's just every one. And I think that's actually why they're leaving Grim Generation till the last, because I feel like that's just going to be a banger. I don't know. Maybe it's
Oh.
just
So you've not heard
I
Grim
don't
Generation?
well, I might have. See, here's the deal, because I know that they played it live last year and I had
Mm.
seen them I don't even know how many times last year, but like So, and I know that they played new music, so I'd have to go back and like
Mm.
cross-reference and see like did they play it on the dates that I saw them?
Mm.
So,
Yeah, it's always fun
yeah.
go to see a band and then they play something you're like, this hasn't released yet. You're like, ooh, special and new. I
Yeah.
I was talking to Josh last year actually, Josh, and I was telling him about the last show before the pandemic. Do you remember what your last show was pre-pandemic?
Yeah. I could probably look this up.
Yeah, go for it, go for it. Nice little tangent for everyone.
Um, so I'm pretty sure it was 2 feet. So I try to save like any sort of like information about shows and stuff that I've been to.
Yeah.
So I try to keep track of like the shows that I've seen. And um
I don't keep track at all.
well, it kind of got to the point where I
I've been to less than you,
couldn't
definitely.
remember.
So.
I've been to so many that I'm like, I actually don't remember if I've ever heard this song live or like, or, did I go to that show? And then I go back and I look and I'm like, oh yeah, I was at that show. So it is one of those things where, yeah, I've just been, I don't know if you'd say I've been to too many shows or,
No.
I don't know, but yeah.
No, never a thing.
Well, anyhow, so it was 2 feet. And I don't know if you're familiar with 2 feet. He's an American guitar player. Insanely talented, this guy. Like, it is just crazy some of the sounds that he can produce with his guitar. But he came to Milwaukee 2 days before lockdown. We were still over here in America kind of wondering, like, is this something that we need to be worried about, or is this like scare tactics, or, like, let's just wait and see what happens. And I remember having that conversation at the show with my friends.
Oh,
and
really?
we were kind of like, wow, like, I wonder, what's going to happen. And yeah, literally like 2 or 3 days later,
wow,
like,
everything.
lockdown.
Oh, wow. I went to see another American group Love. They they signed with a UK label. I think they've already changed label since then, so this is how long it's been. March 4th, 2020. Didn't think of anything. And on that show they were playing stuff from their album before This Is This, the Healer one. They were playing some of the bits of there, which is pretty cool, because it was like, first in the world. And they've done This Is This, which is a fantastic album. I actually really like that. If you haven't heard Group Love, this I would clap, but it would be picked up on the mic pretty poorly. But yeah, it is S tier, I think. I love it.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely check it out then.
It's also not too long. It doesn't disrespect your time, which is nice. It's fun if you like fast, passionate, again, indie rock. So yeah, you might be up the street. But yeah, they were playing. It was nice to have that sort of before it released. I can't remember when it actually did release as well. But anyway, I've got a complete tangent now. We were about to talk about Champ, and here we go talking about the pandemic again. But yeah, Champ featuring Edgar Winter.
I love Champ, and it's kind of like what I was saying before. It totally gives me that classic rock vibe. I mean, of course, with Edgar Winter on it, that definitely helps. But it makes me wonder, though, because I am, really into classic rock, and so I knew who Edgar Winter is, and I am curious to see how many other fans or people who listen to the album kind of will be able to pick up on some of these, classic rock, old, especially like the keyboard. Like, there's like a lot of keyboard, there's the saxophone, there's like this like these instruments that you don't typically hear on an indie rock album, that I'm like, this is awesome.
No, you're absolutely right. It's you said the keyboard. Maybe Kyle was having a good day. I don't know. Maybe he's just having a really good day too. Maybe he just went off on one.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, he did have that piano out in the middle of like the public space or whatever. They were doing that thing in Portland where he was just playing the piano, just sitting out in the middle of.
Oh, really?
the town square or whatever.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I completely missed this. Oh, Jesus. When was this?
It was last summer.
Oh, really? Oh, damn
It
it.
must have been something that the city of Portland was doing to kind of engage people into the arts and stuff. And so they had literally just like plants, and Kyle sat down at a piano and just started doing his thing.
Oh,
So
right.
it's cool. I'm sure there's probably some videos out there
I
floating
will.
around that you could
I might
find.
look into it, yeah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then like I
Oh, go on.
do like the songs, the newer songs, and maybe it's just me. I don't know if you felt this or heard this, but I I felt like, especially listening through headphones, that I'm picking up a lot more of like each individual person's instrument and like their notes and like Zoe's
Their style.
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
with
like
you there
each
as well.
person is kind of like having their little 5 minutes of, to shine or whatever.
Yeah. The production level is quite high. I think they've had a
Mhm.
lot of time to tinker, tweak. I'm sure John's been bored. They've all been at home for a year. They've been working on this. John said this album's been done for a while, and they've had time to
Yeah.
tinker, tweak, make little adjustments.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does. I really like what I've heard so far.
Yeah.
Champ is unlike any other Portugal the Man song. It is very unique, very original, stands
Right.
on its own. Also noticed quite a few features recently. Quite a few. It's quite unusual. They've never really done this before. I mean, we had a feature on Woodstock. I think we had one on Woodstock. Maybe one was a collaboration. You could count Noise Pollution, but since then it's been just like go go go. And again, this harkens back to what I was talking about earlier with the rise of Feel It Still and that sort of increased perspective for everyone, that they get their name out there a bit more. So then we get features like this. They could be more quirky, a little bit more different, a little bit more, do something a little bit off the beaten track, but still unlike any other one. By the way, what is going on with the last minute of that song? It is mental. It's all over the place. I don't know if you've heard it recently, if you remember it, but yeah, that last minute is just like, it just goes hard. It just goes off. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. It's like a switch. And then especially with at the very end with the abolish borders, abolish ICE. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the right words to properly explain it, but
no, I think you've done a good job. It is, yeah. It is very.
It's like it's kind of hard to put in words.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Like, it's like a monumental, like almost like a change, but
it's a jam session.
I mean, I love that. I love it. I think it's great. I also love like all the native nods and mentions and respect and all that stuff too. Especially being where we live. It's like, I don't know. I grew up next to the Oneida Nation, so it's just really nice to see that there are other bands and organizations and people who are amplifying the voices of those who really deserve it. I guess.
I was just gonna. I'm not as versed about the American history and things like that, so I won't speak too much on it because
right.
a bit of land. What are they? Oh, I've completely forgotten.
Acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement. Thank you very much. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Land acknowledgement. Getting bringing out the natives to the shows.
Yeah.
It's different. They don't have to. They don't have to do that, but they are. They're doing it, and it's pretty neat. I mean, are they going to do it for every show forever? Probably not. But still, given its representation, it's fine. It's good to do. It's nice to see.
Yeah. I think it's.
Yeah, more acknowledgement. That's fine. That's good. Good on them. Donate to the PTM Foundation. Yeah, if you want to help causes and things like that.
I was gonna say I'm wearing my Portugal The Women shirt right now. In fact.
Oh, okay. Bit of merch. Bit of shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Awesome. But harken back to Champ. We go on tangents on this, by the way, Amy. We'll go on tangents. You just have to come back. We have to come back. Reel the fishing rod back in. We'll come back in.
Exactly.
Champ. As you mentioned as well, yeah, so many different instruments involved, and so many like alternating styles towards the end. Just again, like I mentioned, a jam session, and I think that's pretty cool. Just chuck it on there because they'll do that live. They'll do that on a live show. So it's like a nice. Oh, this is what we're actually about, you know. This is the sort of. I mean, they always perform every song a little bit differently, so yeah. Champ.
Yeah, I noticed that so I went to see them in Chicago at the Twisted Xmas concert, and it was a very interesting show. I had hung out with them and talked to them for quite a while, and then the show itself there was so much jamming. It was just it was a lot of jamming, and I loved it. It was just almost like just freestyle. Just seeing them up there playing their instruments and doing what they do, you know, it's like, it was almost like they felt very at home doing what they were doing instead of, oh, here we're on stage to play a show for you, you know, let's get this over with kind of thing. Like they were actually there having a great time, enjoying it, you know, and just jamming.
Yeah,
It was
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. So Champ. Thumbs up so far. I'm pretty warm on it. I'm pretty warm on it. I'll might add it to just like the general. I've got like a playlist where I just put anything and everything in there. It might go in there. It might make the cut. Not that means anything there. Anyhow, sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to keep cutting
no.
you off.
I was leading. I was done actually there.
Okay.
No, that's right.
Excuse me. One thing I do like about the new music so far is I almost can't listen to one song at a time now. I have to. I mean, I know it starts with Thunderdome, but from then on, I have to listen to them in succession, and then I end with anxiety, because if you listen to Champ into anxiety, it's really good.
Oh, really?
It's
Nice.
really awesome.
A little bit of crossover, a little bit of concept album-esque.
Yes, exactly.
Ah, okay, there it is. It is there. Okay, I was starting to wonder, like, where do the puzzle pieces of these land and where do they overlap? Dummy, by the way. What do you think of Dummy? I haven't actually asked you about that.
Such a fun song. I mean, how can you not like it?
I think it's my favourite by quite a bit so far. I really like it.
It's kind of like, excuse me. It's kind of like when What Me Worry came out. It's just a great, it's like a great summer song to, just hang out and listen to with your buddies on the porch and having a beer, and you know what I mean? It's like
Definitely.
It's one of those songs where I can't wait to hear it live.
Yes,
I'm gonna be dancing my ass off.
It's about someone a kid in his bedroom who can't sleep and he's thinking about the world ending. That's just that's what happens. And there's a pink dog dancing around, around town, getting in trouble, potentially getting arrested. That's just standard stuff, isn't it? That's just what you do. Yeah.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. John more particularly, as confirmed he eats dog food. Thank you, lyric video. It's quite cool actually. I don't know if you've seen that. It's like an alternative video to it. So it's like some B shots and like side stuff, and it's kind of melded together. Yeah.
I always wonder how many Easter eggs they purposely throw in to the videos and stuff. Is there stuff that I'm missing? It's like there's something in the corner, like some sort of nod to Chris Black, or something like that. It's like all these little clues.
Yeah, we'll find out
details
on
to pick up.
The dog food can. We'll say there'd be some little Easter egg, little something on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
QR code to download a B-side.
I don't know if they've gone that far, but I like your thinking. That's cool thinking. I like that. I like that train of thought.
That's my marketing brain.
Ah, nice. You mentioned it already before, Thunderdome. Is that song? What do you think of Thunderdome? What are your impressions?
I think it's great. I mean, you really like. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but
No. That's fine.
it's just one of those. It's like these songs are just so good, and when you listen to them, especially when you start to listen to them and you start to hear the lyrics, and then you pick up on a lot of like the song patterns, or maybe you might hear some like piano that Kyle threw in there that you didn't hear before. It's just like the instrumentation is so unique, and it's just really like it's really awesome to listen to like the layers and the different instruments, and there's a lot going on there, like the songs are so chill and cool, and like there's such a nice vibe, but if you actually like kind of dive in deep and listen to like each instrument like almost individually, it's crazy.
It's I listened to it once and I thought I kind of want to wait for this to see where it fits within Chris Black. I want to see where this fits in, because again, something I noticed and something someone mentioned recently on the Reddit or the Discord, a lot shorter. The songs are a bit shorter, I've noticed, which isn't a bad thing, but they're kind of kept to that like sharp, that like heightened 3-minute mark, which I know John mentioned in a recent interview, which we'll talk about in a moment, a little bit later. But he quite likes that. He quite likes that 3-minute mark. What do you think about that? Is it too short? Is it too long?
I don't know. Sometimes I do feel like I'm left wanting more.
Well, then you have the live show where they jam, and they actually play it for like 12 minutes, and.
What I'm kind of thinking of, because I sometimes wonder if it almost just like opens up an opportunity for them to, have fun with it on stage.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I haven't heard of Black Thought or Natalie at all.
No.
To be honest, I was trying to pronounce the surname there, and I was about to butcher it. Le Foucault. I was going to say, I'm just reading it now.
La Foucault. Yeah, I don't. Apologies. I've never heard of them either.
Two white people trying to pronounce a Latin person's name. Sorry.
Right, especially with a Midwestern accent.
Oh, yeah. So Thunderdome. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for a while, but again, I want to hold on to it, because I say that I saw it released. I listened to it once, and then pretty quickly after it released, the season, the time of the year. The Summer of Love. Out 12 days afterwards. What were they thinking? 12 days. I was like, what's this? It's just come out. This is literally just released at the time of recording a couple of days ago. Literally. I don't know if you had the chance to hear this. Summer of Love. It's up there for me. I'm talking, I like this.
Yeah. That's what's funny. Like, I do like the song, but I would say out of all the ones that the new releases, like, it's not my favorite. I love it, but it's not my favorite. And I feel like there's a lot of other people saying that it is their favorite thus far of the singles. So it's interesting to see like that.
You won't beat Dummy. Oh, I'm not having it. Sorry.
Right.
Not allowed to.
I know, that's kind of how I feel about like Champ and Anxiety. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you can really top those.
Bringing up Anxiety again. Jeez. Okay. Spoiling it for me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, God. Less of a month. But yeah, Summer of Love. Again, featuring Unknown Mortal Orchestra. Another feature. I know I just mentioned it. It just seems like a couple more this album. Anyway, again, under 3 minutes as well. Bit of a current theme. So they obviously had like a style something they kept throughout making this. Yeah, again, Summer of Love. It's still quite early on, so my initial reaction opinions are quite raw, but I really like it. I like the style. It's groovy. Very different again. Very like if you take a song like Chicago, like you mentioned previously, compare that. I know there's 15 years of difference or whatever, but like the same band made both of them. Like, how does that work? I don't know. It's so different, which is pretty neat. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
What do you think of
It's
Summer of Love?
completely different songs. I think Summer of Love is it's kind of a great summer themed song. Like I feel like this is gonna be a perfect song to listen to, you know, on a hot summer day, hanging out at Lollapalooza waiting for Portugal The Man to come on stage.
So you don't think they'll play it live?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's hard to say because I feel like
How do you without having the feature there? I'm sure there are ways of doing it, you know, but
yeah,
Put 'em
it's
on
going to
there.
be interesting, and I'm also curious to see who's going to be on tour this year too, because you know, Zach was kind of MIA for a while there.
He had a
And
backside injury. He fell down the stairs. Leave him alone, right? Leave him
no,
alone.
I know, but it's like, but then like Jason, you know, and like obviously I know that that was kind of the situation with Jason. Like, you know, don't want whatever. Like, I wasn't there. I didn't have the conversation with him, but from what I heard was that he wanted to take some time off to spend with his family.
He took a
So,
flight back
fair
to
enough.
see the birth of his child. So
Mm,
I'm pretty sure.
mm.
Is that right? Am I remembering that story? I think
I would
so.
assume so. I
I
mean,
think so.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know he's married with kids, and you know, obviously so is John, and
Really?
yeah, John's married. Did you know that?
Yes. No. I've seen the pictures. That one of like, again,
But
gone
yeah,
off, gone
so
off tangent.
sorry. Yeah, we
Anyway,
totally went off
No,
on a
it's good.
tangent here.
We're having fun. You know, it's allowed.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. Yeah, awesome. So Summer of Love out now. Yeah, go stream it, download it, do what you have to do. Yeah, awesome. All right, Amy.
Ode to the Cure.
All right, Amy. We had a recent interview, very recent, with Mr. Zane Lowe and Mr. Gawley. They've been sitting down, they've been chatting, an Apple Music thing. He's done a few of these. I don't know if you're familiar with Zane Lowe. He does these like more personal interviews. I mean, he did one earlier in this year with Paramore, talking about everything from their early days to their breakup and everything. Like, it gets personal, it gets cutthroat, and talks about the deeper stuff in music. And he's done an interview with John here, which we've got some tidbits on. The video version at the time of us recording is not available. We're going off a website. Bear with us, go through it. John talks to Apple Music. Yeah, we've got all this. I think there's one thing you hear in the studio every time, and if you listen to Rick Rubin or Jeff Basker, who features on Heavy Games, who've been working with people like that, Benny Blanco, you never go in the studio going, hey, let's write a hit. I mean, that's just not really how it works. You could recognise something when something brilliant happens in the studio, and you could go, wow, that's really special, but I think we just kind of went in this idea of that we were going to, you know, try and make this. I'm really butchering this, sorry everyone. I'm just trying to read it, and it's not really happening so far, but I'll keep going, keep tackling on. I don't know, we wanted to make something punk, loose, and kind of crazy, and working with Jeff Basker, who's the synth wizard. We're going to do something just way out there. So this kind of opening bit, Amy, I don't know what you not really have initial thoughts, but it sounds like they're just sort of talking about Jeff and the styles and like the initial concepts for it, which it's pretty, you know, I didn't realise they were that close with Jeff. I mean, he does open up, I don't know where Heavy Games is on the list, but off the top of my head I can't remember now.
Yeah,
Really.
I think, right?
It does start it, that's why they led with it, yeah, anyway.
Well,
But
you know what I'm curious about is why Heavy Games isn't on Apple Music, because it had been released, right?
it's on YouTube. I think it's on Spotify as well. I will quickly check while
Really?
I'm just searching. Dummy Chris Lake remix, Champ, Dummy Chrome Sparks remix. Giving these 3 shout outs now, look at us. Thunderdome and some of Did it not really? Oh, okay. It's not on there. Fair enough. It's a minute long.
Right.
It'll come out soon enough anyway. Anyway, that's a good little tidbit. I didn't actually realise that. Oh.
Yeah. I thought that was a little bit interesting. I thought, So I typically have to go on to YouTube then to listen to it.
Yes. Little montage at the end of that one as well. Anyway, jumping back into the article. They wanted to do something way out there. And during that process, I'm quoting John again, we lost a very dear friend of ours, Chris Black, who, as we know, Amy, was their like hype man. He was their I don't know what you would describe him as. The role or something. Maybe there's a better word for it than hype man, but he was their MC, wasn't he? Something like that.
Yeah, I would say he was their hype man. I was fortunate enough to see him the first time I saw Portugal The Man.
Oh, nice.
And and he definitely was getting the crowd going, and he's just a good presence, like a good. He's like the Rock, you know. He's like the.
Not the actor.
I don't know.
But that like.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, solidness. Yeah.
Yeah, he just. I don't know. It was entertaining, and it definitely, for me anyhow, I thought it was a nice add to the show. Instead
of was this before the Beavis and Butthead intro or around that time?
Yeah.
So it's before
that. They didn't even have any video or anything. Yeah, it was completely just them on stage.
Alright, awesome. By the way, I will link this article in the description or however I can, so if people just want to like zip through and Control F or whatever, they can. So if I do miss out on bits and butcher bits, because I will do that. Anyway, jumping back in, they lost him, Chris Black, who the new album is named after. Chris Black, just Chris Black changed my life. Don't know why I added the word just. Didn't need to be. John goes on to say, I believe this is John anyway, and I think that in that moment, priorities kind of shifted, the pandemic hit, all these things happen. Sitting down, I just thought about him a lot, and his family. And I mean, we were forced to be in these like little pods. He goes on to talk about they wanted to get out, obviously, and they wanted to get back to touring because they like touring, they like doing shows. It's understandable. We all wanted to get out. It was a tough year and a half, wasn't it? I mean, I don't know how you did during it. I don't want to linger too much on it, Amy, but wasn't the best time.
Well, especially for somebody who likes to go to a lot of live shows.
Oh yeah, gutting.
It was life changing.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah, I'll jump back into it. I mean, that's exactly what we were feeling. I think we were working on music. A lot of this came down to, I think, this cooped up feeling. Everyone was feeling very, it was very cathartic for me. It reminded me of home and the isolation of growing up in Alaska, in these cabins. Because John, he's very passionate about his home, and obviously thought about Alaska a lot. He's talked about this. And I think in those, remember those pre-album, we had those little like mini shorts they would do. What were they called?
The Nick Country ones?
That's it. That's it. Yeah, it was little interviews with a few little images and stuff. I remember John was talking about it, feeling very, going back and thinking about Alaska and using that influence on this, using that. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. John goes on to say, and I think in sitting down to write this album, just about family and everything Chris has done for me, it was just really looking for that music that he loved growing up with. He really loves Motown, Elvis, the 50s, the 60s, where people really structurally, and in time it was 3-minute songs. that was his obsession. Again, we start to see that all the track basically under 3 minutes. He loves a 3-minute song.
And as you had mentioned before, we were talking about perhaps it's like a way for them to kind of expand on it. You know, maybe
In
a
the live.
3-minute song isn't so bad as far as like listening to it through your earphones, but you know, perhaps live they're going to make a 3-minute song into a 10-minute song.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, so John goes on to talk about the song, the new single Dummy, and how it's an ode to The Cure. And to quote him, he says, "Yeah, I've said it a bunch, but that song to me was like this ode to The Cure. I mean, this is really, really early on. This is pre-pandemic. We were in the studio with Paul Williams, who is just a masterclass songwriter,
He
icon,
really is.
legend.
He really is.
Yeah, Rainbow Connection, Carpenters. He's written so many amazing songs." So John says, we were sitting down with him and we were working on something. It was just a different song at the time. And their drummer comes in, which I'm sure, you know, obviously people know as Jason. And he's like, "Hey, I got a bass line for this." And he keeps telling me he has a bass line. He starts doing this thing in my ear. And he's trying to whisper this bass line to me. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. This is how the bass sounds in your head. Which I love that. I love how, you know, he's trying to tell John, like, this is a bass line, like, as a drummer, you know, when he's telling John, and John's like, wait a second, this is what the bass sounds like in your head?
Jason's a weird, like, he's a Sadie Lowe.
Cracks me up.
He's
Yeah.
a funny geezer. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool they were working
yeah.
with Paul Williams, wasn't it? Like, it's not... this is the first time we've heard about it, which is pretty neat. Like, it's a pretty big name, you know? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the other collaborations, you know, on this album, it's crazy. It's like these are, you know, as John says, they're icons.
Definitely. They are icons, and they're working with them now, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Work with people they want to work with.
Exactly. What I find interesting too is a lot of people will collaborate with up and coming artists, and then you've got, you know, Portugal The Man, and they're kind of like going back and being like, hey, wait a second, what about this guy, and what about this guy, or what about this band, or what about this singer that nobody's ever heard of, or, you know, it's like they like Natalia, for example, you know.
Perfect
It's probably
example.
the first time a lot of us have ever heard her name.
Yeah.
But, you know, she's obviously well known. So it's almost like shining light on other artists that they respect.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So John goes on to talk about, you know, they're in the studio with Paul and they're chatting. Why don't you go in there and record that real quick? I'll figure it out on the bass. So John, obviously, this is kind of like the Feel It Still kind of collaboration where he works with Asa Taccone, that sort of thing. And yeah, he goes on to say, goes on the whole time, I just kind of knew that something really special came from it. That, I mean, he's a goth kid, and that is the world he lives in. I just kind of felt like this, it needed the playfulness in the song. Yet this weight of this kind of cartoonish reality, aka the tank dog, the pink, the costume of John running around, or whoever's been running around in it. Can't fully confirm who's been running around it the whole time, but probably John. The cartoonish reality we're living in right now. So there you go, the ode, the connections with the tank dog. Everything is so exaggerated as well. So that's what the verses were to him. It's Looney Tunes, he goes on to say. It's the piano hanging over your head, it's the anvil falling and you can hear it, but it's going to smash you, so you just cut it loose. It's boys don't cry, but go dance. Yeah, the next paragraph part talks about growing up in Alaska. His parents were dog sled mushers. We all know this. Hopefully you do now. So they grew up dog sled mushing, the Iditarod running, Yukon Quest, running the family. Grew up around dogs, and these packs are very essential to their being, he goes on to say. And I mean that passion for things. I like that passion for racing, that passion for running, that passion for being out together in these packs. And I think that seeped into my being. So building those families and keeping it all together is really, really important for him. He goes on to say, I mean, we went with Rich Holtzman, who is the band manager. If you haven't heard already, he did a Q&A. I think Chris recorded it. Thank you, Chris, again, doing some top work on the Discord. That was on the Reddit. Sorry. He recorded it, it's on the Reddit. You can listen to the MP3 if you want to. Some nice tidbits there, some good questions. He didn't ask my question about have you got any stories you can't tell, but they probably for legal reasons probably can't answer that, so that's fair enough. I was trying to get a few tidbits of some juicy info, but hey ho, we'll try again another time. Yeah, we've had again the band manager. We've had the same lawyer forever. These people are in their lives. So yeah, John just sort of being very homely, very like grounded in his roots, and that reflecting. What do you think of that? Do you think that's a fair reflection? I don't know what you can think about that too much, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting childhood, I would say.
Yes,
There's
definitely.
not many of us that can say that we grew up, in a shed and didn't have electricity, and our parents were dog sled, people. It's just, yeah, it's very interesting.
yeah, like having snow pretty much all year. I don't know if it's all year round, but most of the year. What is that like? Yeah.
Well, being from Wisconsin, it's pretty much we'd say that we get
You get a lot
9
of rain.
months of winter.
Oh, you get 9. Oh dear.
Yeah,
We get about
I mean
8. We get about 8, 7 or 8, 7 or 8.
well, it snowed this month. It snowed earlier in May.
Really?
So
Jeez.
yeah,
It's supposed
and
to be
then
getting
it'll
warmer.
start snowing again probably in, I don't know, it depends. Sometimes in September, but usually probably October.
Damn, it doesn't really snow too much in the UK. When it happens, everyone shits himself and goes, "Oh Jesus, what did we do?" And then everyone realises, "Oh, you just drive a bit slower, put salt on the roads." If you have a big
Yeah,
car.
the whole country shuts down.
Oh God, yeah, we panic. We just panic. The last piece of this article talks about their musical progression since the debut album. The first albums the band released, you see everything they grew up with. You go out on tour and you have this experience, and yeah, that was really fun, he goes on to say. I like the heavier, busier stuff. Bluesier stuff, pardon me, sorry, the cursor was on the thing. Heavier, busier stuff, that's not a phrase. Bluesier stuff. That's kind of where my guitar playing falls. So we made Churchmouth. Like Churchmouth, good one. Nice word there. We made a bluesy record. I learned how to play chords on our third album. So Censored Colours is me learning how to play chords going, oh, that's a 7. I still barely know what that means. I don't know what that means. Did you learn the instrument?
I don't.
Did you
No, I mean, I knew I could play clarinet, and then I know a little bit of piano, and then during lockdown I actually tried to start teaching myself how to play guitar.
Nice.
But I don't know chords or anything
No.
like that. I'm definitely not that
I can't read music.
sophisticated.
Yeah, no, I...
Yeah, I have to do the whole every good boy deserves fudge thing. And do you know that?
Oh,
You
yeah,
have to
yeah,
figure
the
out,
5... Oh, yes, that's right, yes.
Yeah.
I think it
So
was a
I
little
still
bit
have
different,
to, when I'm reading music, I still have to kind of remind myself, okay, where's C again? So
Okay, fine, little C, yep. No, that's fair.
mm.
Yeah, I used to learn on 2 occasions piano. I was young, and then a couple of years ago, probably pre-pandemic. But I kind of get to the same point, and I find the reading and playing at pace very difficult. I just couldn't get over that, and the amount of time I wasn't happy with the progression I made, so I just didn't put in enough effort, unfortunately, which is annoying. But I'll maybe try again and again and again, and I'll eventually pick it up a little better. But never mind. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
7. kind of how I feel. Article goes on to read, John talks about the growth of the band, and it's just been documented. This is our college. Our college was going through just learning how to play everything. They're talking about the albums again. They start to Atlantic. They talk about that, the early In the Mountain and the Cloud era. And here's all those albums in one. And then you expand into Danger Mouse with Evil Friends, who very much lets you explore sonically and structurally and arrangements. And there's no rules to that. And I think coming off the album, I had a lot of ideas for Woodstock, in quotations, bouncing around during that period. So I mean, feel it still. So we had the basic idea, kind of sitting in this bag. I've shown it to a lot of people, and it wasn't until Acetacone mentioned. Look, I didn't read ahead. Remember, heard the track. He heard me playing the bass line. We're just in a lounge together in a studio. It says, and I was playing the bass line, just completely stressed, trying to figure out this album. And that's his safe place. It's that bass line. So it ends with, I quote, "So I feel like it's been this journey of just learning each time and creating something new. This album, Chris Black, changed my life. Has been the most exciting for me. Just working with Acetacone on a lot of these songs, working with Jeff Basker, who is just an absolute genius." And there we go. That is, there's some tidbits in there. There's some background. There's some foundation to the concepts of it. Yeah. What do you think, Amy? Yeah. What do you?
You mean of the article itself?
Yeah.
Or just in general?
Just in general. What do you think about it? I mean, it's good to get those tidbits. It's good to know the ideas of it, why he went for it, like the backing, like almost that, as I mentioned it before, the foundation,
Yeah.
where they came from.
I'm always interested to see how things progress. So for me, it's nice to see like where the influences came from, and what the background is on a song. Not only lyrically but musically, like instrumentally. Why they chose a particular person on this song versus another person, or like as far as like collaborations go. So I like reading the articles or listening to the Q&As because it's nice to kind of get like the foundation of an album or a song.
Yeah, and it's behind the door, behind the curtain. We don't really see that sort of thing, so it is nice to have. We don't really get it, and take it when it comes. So yeah, I'll link the article below. I'm sure we'll probably get a bunch more in the next coming weeks, months, interviews and such, just talking about the album, Chris Black, all that good stuff. Okay. That we've had a good discussion. I think we've had a good discussion today. We've gone through some articles and some recent stuff, we've caught up. It's nice to know a bit more about you. It's been a good time. But we're not quite done yet. We're not getting out of the woods just yet. The PTM 10 questions. 10 questions. I'm thinking of a song from the Portugal The Man catalogue. You have 10 yes or no only answered questions. So have a little think how you can divide them up. You've got to work out what one I'm thinking of. I've got it here. I've got them ready. Do you have any questions? Are you ready to go? How are we feeling?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I say we just go for it.
People have been less confident each time. There's a little bit of pressure. Because now...
It's like I'm in the hot seat.
There is no prize, no loss, no punishment. Don't worry. This is just for fun.
I'm not going to get banned from Discord if I lose.
I mean, you said that, not me. No, you'll be cool. Awesome. Yeah, you take it away when you've got your first one. However many.
Oh my god! like a 20 questions thing.
Exactly, but there's only 10 because
shit. Okay. One song out of their whole catalog.
Yeah, just one. One measly. Just one.
See, now I am more nervous.
You'll be cool. You'll be alright.
Okay.
You've got this.
Is the song a new release song?
I'm going to say no, even though it is quite vague. I wouldn't put that in the last 2 years, no. If that's what you mean by new, yeah.
Yeah, like if it's off the new album kind of thing.
Yeah, not a new release.
Okay.
If you want to break it down by like album or like track or like name, just anything to break it down. You want to start like halving things like that. Before and after.
That's what I was thinking too. Okay, so is this song on any of the albums before Evil Friends?
So from their origin up to Evil Friends. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yes, it is between them.
Okay.
Don't get too precious with the albums though. They did single as well.
Dang it! Wow. Okay, so you're really gonna make it tough then.
I've picked a harder one this week. This time.
Well, why for me?
I mean, it's one out of however many each time. I can't. It's not like we talk about Dummy for a whole episode and I pick Dummy as the thing.
Right.
That would be dumb, wouldn't it?
Okay, so how that would be a dummy move.
That would be,
sure.
yeah. But it isn't because you said new releases. So.
Okay, so was this released as a single?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, a little. Had to check though. You had to be sure.
Okay, was it on an EP?
No.
Huh. Okay. Okay.
You have 5 questions and a guess.
Wait, did it have anything to do with a tiger?
How do you mean? No. Not
Sumatran tigers.
No.
Okay. All of a sudden it just occurred to me. I was like, oh.
It's a good one. You did say no single though, so you did.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good point actually. Oh gosh. Was this song perhaps on a soundtrack?
No.
I feel like I'm not even getting warmer.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, this is really hard.
Got this?
But like this was a song that they weren't the featured artist on it, right? Like they were the ones.
I'm not gonna count that as a question,
song.
but this isn't. I'm not that mean. I'm not gonna do that.
I know. I'm like, well,
No,
God.
I'll let you have that as a free
that's
one
just-
because I gave you the So it is them
Thanks.
originally. You could break it down by like year or album.
Was it? But it's not on an EP, but it's on an album before Evil Friends. Problem is, I'm really like before Evil Friends. I'm not as good with like song titles either. I don't know. I feel really like.
No worries. Think about breaking it down before and after because you need to get the album really.
Okay. Was it before 2010?
Yes. It was pre-2010.
Okay, so there's only a few before then.
Yeah.
Like I would say Chicago, but then I feel like that would be too obvious.
Don't want to waste the whole thing on a guess. You got to hone it down a bit more.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring up the discography just to give yourself a hand?
Yeah, actually, here. Yeah, how many do I have left?
You have 3 and a guess. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll say 3.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is good. Which is tough, but you got this.
Let's see. I'm looking at. Is it? I forget that you can like pretty much ask whatever.
All I asked was yes or no questions. That was
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
True.
Depends how outside the box,
Okay.
how creative you can get with them.
Is this song on the first 2 albums?
Ooh. Well, no, it isn't. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. It is not on Way to You Vultures or Churchmouth. So that leaves you with 3.
Censored Colors and
2 questions and a guess. You could ask, you could break it down, because 2 of them are pretty much the same. You could just do a stab.
Yeah,
in
I
the
know.
dark.
I'm literally like looking at Satanic Satanists and whatchamacallit. And I'm trying to like compare, like, which one is it? I'm trying to use telepathy.
I mean,
and
you
it's
could.
not working.
Yeah. I'll try not to think about it.
I have a feeling. Is it on Censored Colors? Because I don't
It
know,
is.
for some reason
It
I
is.
have. Okay, I have a feeling.
Alright. You've got to narrow it down now. You've got 1 question to narrow down. All of them.
Okay.
And then you're going to have to take a stab in the dark.
Oh, okay. Does it have an O in the title?
O is in the letter?
Yeah.
Just to confirm? It does. Okay. Right.
So is this my guess
This
now?
is your guess. It's do or die. Have a think. What are we thinking? Talk to me. What could it be? What couldn't it be?
I mean, I feel like it. I don't know. I kind of feel like it might just be colors.
What are the other options? You've got, because there's more than one with O.
Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
I'm trying to like just go by like my gut.
Okay.
I don't know. New Orleans. It's like I feel like it's a toss up between colors and New Orleans. Okay.
Go for it.
I'm gonna go with New Orleans.
Final answer?
Yeah, I think.
Censored Colours is correct.
Mm-hmm.
O in the title is correct. The track was Out and In and In and Out.
Ah,
September
damn
16th,
it.
2008. Censored Colours. Got pretty darn close, I'll give you that. You got it down to 1
Not
in
bad.
5. Not bad. I had to guide you a little bit, but you know what? It's the pressure. Because you weren't expecting it.
that was a lot.
That was a
lot
lot.
of pressure.
That was a lot.
Hmm.
But you know what? This has been really good. It's been good to chat to you.
Yeah, you too.
It's been fun. It's been good catching. You know, I remember that time we were both in that Discord Q&A. I was recording it. You were trying to record it. We both failed. Then it just didn't work. I was really annoyed because I had recorded the whole thing with the screen. I went to like pause it, like select it, do it, done, and it just froze. And I'd woken up early in the morning to record this 2-hour long thing, and it buggered up right at the end. And I was like, "You're kidding! I'm going to bed." I literally just went to bed right then. I was like, "I can't be doing this."
Yeah, screw that.
I thought I gave it like 5 minutes. I thought, why is come on.
I know. The same thing happened to me because I had it all set up, everything was ready to go, and then I don't know, it must have been Chris asked me to checked in on my audio if I could hear him, and I just like turned off
You might have been muted.
like one thing. Yeah, and like I was like, oh shit, and then I just screwed it up, so I was like, oh, fuck it. But whatever.
That's good. We've got the transcript out there, you know. we got it out there in some way.
Yeah.
You had to be
yeah,
there. You
some
had
of
to
it.
be there. Anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, do you have any thank you for coming on, short notice again. It's been really good. Do you have a statement or any final thoughts or anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to promote? The floor is yours.
No, I'm just looking forward to seeing them at Red Rocks again and Lala and wherever else this road may take me.
Awesome. And what's your next show that you're planning on going to? PTM on other?
Red Rocks.
Oh, that is the next one. Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That'll be cool.
Should be a good time. July. Ooh, very nice. Very, very nice. Hopefully not too warm for you, or snowy, depending on the weather. Hopefully it's still alright.
Yeah. There better not be any snow.
There better not be. Playing a home game for them. Oh, you back in last year. Yeah. Anyway,
right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Again, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for listening. I think I've got plans to keep going, just keep doing more podcasts. That is the plan, just to keep getting content out there. I think I keep learning, making small, we want to get more people, more fans, talk about the first times. We've heard so many interesting stories, and it's just good to keep going, just good to chat to people, try and build the community up. But again, thank you for listening. Have a good day, guys. Cheers, bye.